Have you ever planted a beautiful perennial, watched it bloom brilliantly for a short time, and wished it would last longer? If you're aiming for continuous color throughout the seasons, this is exactly what you need. I've tested countless perennials in garden beds, borders, and containers, and I've learned which ones truly provide long-lasting, reliable blooms. Plants that keep your garden vibrant from late spring all the way into fall with just a bit of care. In this guide, you'll discover 10 of the best long-blooming perennials, plants that extend their display through repeat flowering, long-lasting blooms, or steady production when regularly maintained. For each one, you'll learn why it blooms so long, how to care for it properly, what to pair it with, common mistakes to avoid, and a few standout varieties to consider. No filler, just practical advice to keep your garden full of color for months. 1. Rudbeckia, Black-Eyed Susan. Rudbeckias, commonly known as black-eyed Susans, are some of the most reliable, long-flowering perennials you can grow. Their bright, daisy-like blooms bring warm, golden tones to the garden from midsummer right through to the first frost, making them one of the most consistent performers in late-season borders. One of their biggest advantages is their durability. They thrive in full sun and can handle heat, drought, and average soil conditions with ease. In fact, overly rich soil can reduce flowering, encouraging more foliage instead. Once established, they require very little care. Regular deadheading helps extend the bloom period by encouraging new flowers instead of seed production. Rudbeckias come in a range of sizes. Taller types like Rudbeckia fulgida or Rudbeckia hirta can reach several feet in height, adding structure to the garden, while compact varieties such as Little Gold Star are perfect for smaller spaces or containers. Their bright yellow petals with dark centers pair beautifully with plants like asters, sedum, echinacea, ornamental grasses, or Russian sage, creating rich and dynamic combinations. They also benefit wildlife. Pollinators such as bees and butterflies are drawn to their flowers, and later in the season, birds feed on their seeds. Even after blooming, the seed heads provide visual interest through autumns and winter. Overall, Rudbeckias are low-maintenance, resilient, and highly rewarding. They offer long-lasting color, support wildlife, mow and hold their structure well even in challenging weather, making them a cornerstone of any summer to fall garden. 2. Echinacea, coneflower. Echinacea, or coneflower, is another standout perennial known for its extended blooming period. Native to North America, it begins flowering in early summer and continues well into autumn, often lasting until the first frost. Unlike many plants that bloom once and fade, Echinacea produces new flowers continuously, while older ones remain attractive. Even after the petals drop, the distinctive cone-shaped seed heads add visual interest and provide food for birds like goldfinches. Traditional varieties feature pink-purple petals with a central orange cone, but modern hybrids offer a wide range of colors, including white, yellow, orange, and even double-flowered forms. Their sturdy stems and classic shape add both structure and color to the garden. Echinacea grows best in full sun and well-drained soil. It tolerates drought once established and doesn't require rich soil. Too much fertilizer or excess moisture can actually weaken the plant. Basic care, such as occasional deadheading and dividing every few years, is usually enough to keep it thriving. In terms of design, Echinacea works beautifully in groups and pairs, well with plants like Nepeta, Salvia, Rudbeckia, phlox, and ornamental grasses. It fits into a wide range of garden styles, from naturalistic prairie plantings to more structured borders. Problems are generally minimal, especially when plants are well-spaced and healthy. And beyond its beauty, Echinacea supports pollinators in summer, feeds birds in fall, and adds structure to the garden even in winter. With its long flowering period, resilience, and ecological value, Echinacea is one of the most dependable and rewarding perennials you can grow. 3. Coreopsis. Coreopsis is one of the most dependable plants for long-lasting color in the garden. Many varieties begin blooming in late spring and, with regular deadheading, continue producing flowers throughout summer and into early autumn. Its strength lies in its ability to bloom quickly and continuously, constantly forming new buds without much effort from the gardener. This plant thrives in full sun and well-drained soil. Too much shade will reduce flowering, while overly rich soil can lead to excessive leaf growth at the expense of blooms. Removing faded flowers regularly helps extend the flowering period. And a light trim in midsummer can stimulate a fresh wave of blooms. Coreopsis comes in a range of forms. Compact varieties are ideal for containers or the front of borders, while taller types work well in the middle of beds. It pairs beautifully with ornamental grasses, salvia, and rudbeckia, adding bright, cheerful tones that keep the garden vibrant for weeks. It's generally easy to grow and rarely troubled by pests, although powdery mildew can appear in humid conditions if airflow is poor. For gardeners looking for continuous summer color with minimal effort, Coreopsis is an excellent choice. 4. Nepeta is a reliable, long-blooming perennial that also supports pollinators. In many gardens, it starts flowering in late spring and continues through the season, especially if trimmed back after the first main bloom. This simple pruning encourages the plant to produce fresh growth and new flowers. Its loose, arching form and abundance of small blooms are key to its long flowering period. After the initial flush, a quick cutback refreshes the plant and triggers another round of flowering that can last well into autumn. Nepeta prefers full sun and well-drained, relatively lean soil. It doesn't need heavy fertilization. Too much feeding can actually reduce flowering and make the plant less tidy. Popular varieties like Walker's Low are valued for their long bloom time and neat growth habit. It works especially well alongside roses, lavender, and echinacea. Its soft, gray-green foliage complements stronger shapes, while its flowers provide nectar for bees and butterflies over a long period. Pests are rarely an issue, though overly wet winter conditions can cause problems. Dividing plants every few years helps keep them healthy. For containers, compact varieties perform best, with occasional trimming to maintain flowering. Overall, Nepeta offers months of delicate, fragrant blooms with very little maintenance. 5. Salvias are among the best plants for extended flowering. Many varieties begin blooming in late spring and continue through summer into autumn, especially when regularly trimmed after flowering. Their ability to keep blooming comes from continuous production of flower spikes combined with strong heat tolerance. With proper watering and light feeding, salvias can quickly produce new blooms even after being cut back. They prefer full sun and well-drained soil. In heavy or waterlogged conditions, they may struggle or develop root problems. Cutting back spent flower spikes after the first bloom usually encourages a strong second wave that can last until frost. Popular varieties like May Night and newer cultivars offer long-lasting color with compact, tidy growth. Salvias are also excellent for attracting pollinators. Bees, butterflies, and even hummingbirds are drawn to their flowers. They combine well with Nepeta, echinacea, and ornamental grasses, creating dynamic, textured borders. Occasional issues like slugs may appear in damp conditions, and old growth should be pruned in late winter. For gardeners looking for reliable, long-lasting vertical color, salvias are one of the most consistent and rewarding choices. 6. Agastache. Agastache, often referred to as giant hyssop or hummingbird mint, is highly valued for its tall, slender flower spikes that not only last a long time but also attract a wide range of pollinators. It typically begins blooming in early summer and continues well into fall, offering a long and consistent display. Its extended flowering period comes from its ability to continuously produce new buds along each spike, combined with a strong tolerance for heat and dry conditions that allows it to keep performing even when more delicate plants begin to fade. For best results, Agastache should be planted in full sun with well-drained soil. It does not tolerate excess moisture during winter, and in fact, it performs better in leaner soils that encourage flowering rather than excessive leafy growth. Light pruning or deadheading after the first flush of blooms helps extend the flowering period even further. Some gardeners also choose to cut the plant back midway through the season, which encourages fresh growth and a new wave of blooms. Another appealing feature is its aromatic foliage, which releases a pleasant scent when brushed or handled. Once established, Agastache is both drought-tolerant and resistant to deer, making it a practical and low-maintenance choice for many gardens. There is also a wide range of cultivars available, offering colors that span from cool purples and blues to warm tones like orange and peach, allowing it to fit easily into different planting schemes. It works especially well in pollinator-friendly borders, cottage-style gardens, or Mediterranean-inspired landscapes, where it pairs beautifully with plants like lavender, salvia, and ornamental grasses. In terms of maintenance, Agastache is relatively trouble-free. The main issue to watch for is root rot in poorly drained soils. Otherwise, its long flowering season and strong appeal to wildlife make it an excellent option for gardeners looking to maintain months of active, vibrant blooms. 7. Agora is one of the best examples of a plant that provides a light, continuous display of flowers over an extended period. From late spring through autumn, it produces masses of small, delicate blooms that resemble butterflies hovering above the plant. These flowers are carried on thin, flexible stems that move easily in the breeze, giving the garden a sense of constant motion and softness. Its long flowering season is due to its ability to continuously form new buds along its branching stems, combined with its tolerance for heat and mild drought. This allows Gora to keep blooming even when many other perennials begin to slow down or stop altogether. Gora thrives in full sun and well-drained soil. In very rich or fertile soil, it can become overly vigorous, producing more foliage and fewer flowers, so leaner conditions are often better for maintaining a compact shape and strong flowering performance. A light trim, cutting the plant back by about 1/3 in mid-season, can encourage a fresh flush of blooms. Clearing away old growth in early spring also helps prepare the plant for another long flowering cycle. This plant works particularly well in naturalistic plantings, prairie-style gardens, and informal borders. Compact varieties can also perform well in containers. Gora pairs beautifully with plants like salvia, nepeta, echinacea, and ornamental grasses, where its airy, delicate texture contrasts nicely with denser, more structured forms. Although generally easy to grow, Gora can occasionally struggle in poorly drained soil, where root rot may develop. In colder climates, cutting it back hard in late winter helps maintain its health and encourages strong new growth. With its long-lasting blooms, graceful movement, and minimal care requirements, Gora is a standout choice for gardeners who want continuous, effortless color throughout the growing season. 8. Sedums, especially the upright, late-flowering varieties, are essential for extending interest into the final part of the growing season. As summer begins to fade, sedum starts to come into its own. Flower heads begin forming in late summer, gradually developing into dense clusters that deepen in color and remain attractive well into autumn. Even after frost, these flower heads often hold their structure and visual appeal, making sedum a key element in gardens designed for long seasonal impact. One of sedum's greatest strengths is its adaptability. It thrives in full sun and performs best in lean, well-drained soil, where many other plants might struggle. Its natural drought tolerance makes it especially valuable in low-maintenance or dry gardens. Care requirements are minimal. Clumps can be divided occasionally to keep plants vigorous, and deadheading is optional depending on your preference. Removing spent flowers keeps the plant looking tidy, while leaving them in place provides winter structure and seeds for birds. The thick, succulent foliage also adds an important textural contrast, helping break up softer or finer plantings. In terms of design, sedum works particularly well in late-season borders, pairing beautifully with plants like rudbeckia, asters, and ornamental grasses. It is generally resistant to pests and diseases, although young growth may occasionally attract slugs or snails in damp spring conditions. For gardeners looking to extend color into late summer and autumn, while also adding structure and interest beyond the flowering season, sedum is an indispensable choice. 9. Verbena bonariensis. Verbena bonariensis is a tall, airy perennial that offers long-lasting blooms and a strong vertical presence in the garden. From early summer until the first frosts, it produces clusters of small purple or lavender flowers atop slender, wiry stems. These blooms appear continuously, ensuring a steady display of color over many months. Its open, marked see-through structure allows it to weave naturally through other plantings without overwhelming them. At the same time, it provides height and movement, making it especially useful in layered garden designs. The flowers are highly attractive to butterflies and beneficial insects, adding ecological value as well as visual interest. Verbena thrives in full sun and well-drained soil and is well suited to warm climates, handling both heat and humidity better than many similar perennials. Deadheading is optional, While removing spent blooms can encourage additional flowering, the plant generally continues blooming on its own without much intervention. It combines well with low-growing perennials, ornamental grasses, and bold structural plants, making it ideal for mid or back-of-border placement. Its long flowering season and light, and airy habit help maintain a sense of openness and continuity in the garden. In colder climates, verbena may behave as a short-lived perennial or require some winter protection. It can also be susceptible to powdery mildew in very humid conditions, so good airflow is important. For gardeners seeking height, movement, and long-lasting color that attracts pollinators, Verbena bonariensis is an outstanding option. 10. Hemerocallis. Daylilies are well known for their individual blooms, each of which lasts only a single day. However, the plant's real strength lies in its ability to produce many flower stalks, each carrying multiple buds. This results in a continuous sequence of blooms that can extend from late spring through summer and, in some cases, into autumn, especially with modern re-blooming varieties. Choosing the right variety is key to maximizing flowering. Compact types like Stella de Oro are ideal for containers, while re-blooming cultivars are better suited for extended displays in garden beds. Proper care also plays an important role. Full sun encourages more abundant flowering, while well-drained, nutrient-rich soil supports healthy growth. Dividing clumps every few years helps maintain vigor and keeps the plant productive. Routine maintenance is simple. Removing spent flower stalks and clearing away old foliage encourages new growth. A light feeding or the addition of compost during the growing season can further support bud development and extend the blooming period. Daylilies are highly adaptable. Once established, they tolerate heat, drought, and a wide range of soil conditions. This resilience allows them to continue producing flowers, even when more delicate plants begin to fade. They also integrate well into garden designs, providing a reliable background of color alongside plants like salvia, coreopsis, and ornamental grasses. Problems are generally minimal, though spider mites can appear in very dry conditions, and poor drainage may lead to crown rot. For gardeners who want weeks or even months of dependable color from a plant that requires very little care, daylilies remain one of the best choices available. These 10 perennials are proven performers, capable of extending the flowering season when planted in the right conditions and given proper care. To get the most from any long-blooming perennial, a few general principles apply. Match the plant to its preferred light conditions. Use well-drained soil that encourages flowering rather than excessive foliage, and remove spent blooms or trim plants strategically to promote reblooming. A light mid-season feeding can help boost performance, and dividing plants every few years keeps them healthy and productive. By combining different heights, textures, and bloom times, and mixing long flowering perennials with structural elements like grasses or shrubs, you can create a garden that remains vibrant and full of life from late spring all the way into the deep colors of autumn.